Hey everyone, Purpose Girl here. So glad to be with you guys one more time. My crazy hair. So glad to be with you guys and kind of just looking at how we're doing in our 21-day challenge. Man, this challenge has been so important to me recently just because of, different things that I'm going through and different kind of discouragements that I'm facing and realizing that I choose how I feel. I choose how I behave. I get to choose what I think. I get to control my thought life. And this challenge has been really, really great with just helping me control my thought life. And as a result of controlling my thought life, I am also able to control my emotions, which helps me to control my behavior. Now, that's not to say I don't have slip ups because clearly I do. I did complain twice today. Um, I can't even remember what it was about. It was something happening in my day, and I was just like, come on. And I did complain twice, but I did switch it over. Went from this arm to that arm and back. But I was able to get a handle on it, and I didn't end up falling into this entrenchment of complaining, this pattern, this way for my whole day to be, and I was able to turn it around really quickly. And so I hope that you're able to say the same. I was able to thank somebody today, a coworker. We collaborated on something, and I was able to thank her very intentionally about it. So I'm really, really glad that I was able to do that. And I missed a couple of days of doing that intentionally. I always say thank you. I'm a mannerly person, so I always say thank you. But that intentional thank you for doing X, Y, Z for me, I really appreciate it. Sometimes that doesn't happen, and so I missed a couple of days of that, but I noticed at the end of the day that I had missed it because when I really sat to think about, well, did I thank anybody today? Then I realized, I wasn't really super intentional about it. So, but I was able to do it today and it felt really good. And it felt meaningful. So I hope you guys are able to thank someone and that you've been able to do that. As far as facing poverty this week, last week was with food. This week I am facing poverty, not with transportation because I'm in a carpool with my children and some of my neighbors and friends. So I'm not able to face poverty with taking public transportation, but I have decided to do it in my clothing. So as I go to work, I am just kind of now I'm an island girl. So that means that I love color, bright, vibrant colors. And so the way that I am facing poverty, because I don't have red bottoms and Louis Vuitton, and I don't have any of that stuff as it is. So it's not like I could really downgrade in designer brands or anything like that. But what I've decided to do is downgrade in color and flash and pizzazz. So I am kind of humdrum. I'm doing blacks and blues all week long. And it's interesting because I before I went back to work in 2017, I was a single mom for 9 years, and that was a humdrum 9 years because we didn't necessarily have the money for me to kind of be stylish at my own whim. And so I'm just now getting back into kind of, being a little sassy, a little cute. So it's kind of to have to go back to humdrum this week has been it's not challenging because I'm a t-shirt and sweats kind of gal too, so it's not challenging to be humdrum, but it's more um I was kind of in a rhythm of ensuring that whatever I wore really conveys my style, because that's what I didn't get to do when I was at home. I didn't get to convey my style through my clothing. I just had to wear what I could. And so just going back in my mind now to, okay, not trying to, be unique or stand out or have my own style, just just putting clothes on my body that fit and going out. That's been a little interesting to switch my mindset back, but it's been fine. Like I said, I did 9 years, so that won't be a huge problem for me. But it's definitely and like I said, because I was 9 years at home and was forced, then I already have empathy in that area. Already have empathy in that area for those who can't necessarily afford clothing that conveys their style or causes them to really feel confident in their attire. So this week is just reinforcing that and making sure that now that I do have those options, that I won't forget that there are people that don't, and that there are ways that I can help with that, and to keep that on the forefront of my mind. So that's how I'm facing poverty this week. How are you facing poverty as you do the challenge? And you know what's cool about this challenge is that I'm doing this from December 1st to December 21st. But if you jump on of 2018, if you jump on December 1st of 2019, you can still watch all the videos and you can still do the challenge. And though it won't be live, you can still drop your comments. I'm still going to read them. I'm still going to interact with you. I'm still going to be paying attention to what's going on with these videos. So definitely, how are you facing poverty this week? What have you decided to do? And how are you internalizing that? What's going on? What is it creating in you? Is it creating empathy, or is it bringing up old feelings of things that you've been through in the past? What do you have going on with that? And so tonight, I did some deep breathing today, and that was amazing. That was amazing. I actually led one of my clients in therapy in some deep breathing, and it really, I did along with her, and it really was, very calming, very grounding. And so that was really good. But I wanted to stay on the theme that I talked to you about last night. I talked to you about forgiveness, and I posted in the description box of last night's video kind of some activities that you can do to experience forgiveness in your life and to really be intentional about forgiving the unforgivable. And I kind of talked to you about a book that I'd read that was very helpful in my process of forgiving. But tonight I want to talk to you because a lot of people say, okay, someone did something to me, and so they say, all right, well, all right, I forgive them and I'll just move on. And then somebody else does something, or that same person does a similar thing, and all those feelings well up, and you realize, I have not forgiven them, and you're stuck. And a lot of times we think we can just say it and then we're forgiven and it's good, but forgiveness is actually a process. And so the first stage in that process, or the first step that you can do to move through the process of forgiveness in a healthy manner, and really that it will be forgiveness and not just you sweeping things under the rug to say, okay, we're over it, I don't want to talk about it anymore. And so that first step in that is acknowledging the infraction. A lot of times some people say, I don't want to talk about it, and they just move on. But it's very important to acknowledge what was done. You Somebody said this to me and it really hurt me, because a lot of times in our acknowledging what was done, we can get to the root of why it hurt so much, by kind of delving into it and thinking about it. And so when you're in that step one of acknowledging the infraction, you want to say, who did it, what was done, and where am I now as a result of that? And kind of just really acknowledging someone else's part to play in what's going on with you. A lot of times we want to say, nope, she ain't hurt me. Nope, I'm good. Or he could kick rocks, I'm not checking for him. But at the end of the day, things that people do and say really do hurt us. And when we don't acknowledge it, then we kind of get ourselves stuck right there. Step one, we're stuck, and we can't move to the place of forgiveness, and we can't get healing, and we can't get free. And we're all clogged up because we never even acknowledged that what someone did was wrong, or that, and sometimes we blame ourselves. Sometimes, Especially, like, I mean, if you think about this Me Too movement, a lot of times what sexual assault survivors and people who have been mistreated around gender, a lot of times they feel like maybe it was my fault. Maybe it was something I wore. Maybe it was something I said. Maybe I gave him the wrong idea. Maybe I sent mixed signals. No, no one has the right to do certain things to you. And so the idea is acknowledge that someone did something wrong and that there is a part that other people have to play in how you were hurt or what happened, and acknowledge who it was. Don't just take all the blame on yourself, but acknowledge it. Don't sweep it under the rug and ignore it, because that's not a way to get free or get by people or get by things or over things. And so for the rest of um this week, I want to say today's Tuesday. Yeah, so for the rest of this week, or this work week, we're going to be talking about the rest of the steps of forgiveness and how you can get free. A lot of us are frozen in time. Something happened to us when we were 10, and every time any trigger happens to remind us of that thing, we turn back into that 10-year-old little girl because we never ever dealt with what happened. And so, as you go through the activity that I posted in the description box of last night's video, as you pray through and go through forgiveness, I want you to also be mindful that forgiveness is a process. There are steps and stages that you go through so that you can go through forgiveness in a healthy way and really address what has happened. And so, step one is to acknowledge the infraction, who did it, and what was done. And remember, from Purpose Girl to you, girl, you are free. Now stay free.